Hey guys, let's do one that's been sitting on the shelf for a while now, and I mean a while. I think I bought this, this might have been right after I got Castle Grayskull, so you could tell, like, I bought a whole bunch of stuff, right? And then, of course, because I'm only opening it as I do these videos, if I fall behind because I'm getting more stuff and I'm getting stuff that's easier to open and easier to review, well, this thing sat around for a while now and we've never once talked about it, but I have it. So let's talk about the Sky Sled. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about, as always, is the art. The artwork is absolutely fantastic. Look at this. That is awesome. And the back, just as good. Just as good. This is really cool. This is once again an absolute fantastic piece, and I've said it time and time and time again. I truly believe that part of what you are buying when you buy this is the art. I think it cannot be overstated that the art is a huge part of what you are investing in when you buy Motu stuff. I truly, honestly believe that. So yes, I'm going to be cutting the art off the top of here. I'm not going to be saving the box. It got a little damaged right over here. It's kind of dented in and everything. Not that it would be a big thing, but as we know on this show, as I've talked about time and time again, I'm an opener. I'm the kind of person that wants to put that Sky Sled on that shelf right there. And yes, if you'll notice, we have made the first major change because this is now going to be a lot of vehicles and monsters and things like that, as well as some stuff that needs to be opened. If you've been watching my TikToks, you know that I'm starting to do some kind of comedy skits and whatnot. Just something I'm testing the waters with and having fun, but it's the way I'm kind of introducing upcoming videos for the main channel. And of course, here we are. We put up a Motu shelf, a shelf specifically for Motu to go on. And I'm not done yet. I don't know 100% how these things are going to go because there's still a possibility that this shelf will also end up being hollowed out and all of this game stuff will go into my retro game corner area that I'm building in my garage, because my garage is now acting as a secondary collection room and retro room where I can go out and play like some retro video games and whatnot for like original Xbox and things of that nature. So it might make more sense to build that shelf with the gaming stuff. That might be what ends up happening, and if that happens, that's going to free up this shelf to start handling the Masterverse figures. So I'll end up having an area up here and an area down here, Masterverse and Origin stuff, because I'm kind of collecting both lines at this point. It is the way it is. I'm very blatantly collecting both lines at this point. Guys, let's unbox this because there are some things in here I really want to talk about. So let's talk the figure first for a couple seconds here, or a couple minutes. I don't know how long I'm going to talk about it. This is Prince Adam, okay? That's cool. I like the fact that I got a Prince Adam. I would have preferred that they used its own buck, but I understand why it is this way. I know that it's the classic Prince Adam. I know that it's basically taken more from the 80s series, and I know that when you look at him, he's supposed to be the guy that puts the sword up, he has the power, he becomes He-Man, and then all of a sudden, he looks like this guy over here instead of this guy over here, which basically means he took his shirt off. Good disguise. Like, but I do like the fact that I have him. I like that he's slightly different. I like that he looks different. Like, I don't know. I think it's more the fact that I'm watching the show now. And so I get that there's a little bit of nostalgia and a little bit of forgiveness tied into it. But I would prefer that Prince Adam be not this. Even though I'm okay with this when it comes right down to it. This is like a It's not like a soft goods. That probably would have been cooler to me, but I don't mind this. And mine has a couple of imperfections in terms of the paint, where on the arm there's a couple of black areas and whatnot, like little scratches. But it's fine. I like the fact that the sword is not necessarily the sword of power or the sword of he or the power sword or however you want to refer to that. I've read that some of the explanations and heard that some of the explanation, which I think was invented around the time of the Classics line, often talks about whoever is holding the sword changes to kind of adapt to them or whatever, and so it's almost like having the sword in disguise. He holds it, it kind of looks like the sword of he, but it's not quite He-Man's sword, so nobody questions it, and then he pulls it off his back, puts it in the air, the sword changes, and he changes, and that's cool. For right now, there, we're just going to put him over there. He's cool, he's fine, but we're really here to talk about the main event, the Sky Sled. So, there was a time, and I can't remember exactly what video this was, it may have been the battle pack with the He-Man and the Battle Cat. It may have been that I mentioned I really like the fact that some of these pieces are coming with little land masses, little things that kind of add to the overall. And this is one of those things. This comes with a little stand that you can make. And so there we go. Just like that. And maybe this went in the other way, to be fair, if I figure out that that's the truth. But so far, this is what I'm doing with it. And if it doesn't feel right, I'll flip it around. Because it seems to be that it can go in either way. There wasn't like an exact way to stick that in. I could turn it around if I really wanted to. But I think this is fine. I think this is right. And I like the fact that if you buy vehicles and stuff, I feel like they should come with these little things. Not necessarily that the sand is going to be useful, but I do like the idea that buying things would add to the castle grounds and whatnot. Like when I bought Battle Cat, and when I got the one with the pack, it came with this, and it's like a piece of landmass that sits outside of Castle Grayskull. I think that's really cool. Here, this just kind of clips in there. Oh my gosh, it is really tight. I feel like once I put that in there, I won't be popping it out very easily. But it would basically go on there like this, and then it would be a Sky Sledding or whatever. Or, you know, straight up, and there it would be. So once I pop that in there, of course, I'll have it on the rotator and things like that. Probably as I'm talking right now, to be fair. This comes with two different forms as well, which I was kind of surprised about because it seems like you could pull these guns off, though at least it feels like that. I'm not going to pop them out, but it seems like you could. Now the head, the bird head-esque thing here comes off, and then there's another head, which you could pop on, which is more of an open face, which I think is supposed to simulate the idea of a good scooter and a bad scooter thing, sled thing, because right here you could pull these panels off. So you go into the sides here, and you just kind of clip these panels out. There you have these panels. You take them, and you put these other panels on. There we go. And then you would have the opposite sled. You would have the bad guy's Sky Sled. And that's cool. But it also means that if you wanted to display this twice, if you wanted to have both of them, the good guy and the bad guy one, you would have to buy this twice. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to look over my stuff, and I'm going to figure out who looks best on this. Probably Prince Adam, because he's going to look out of place amongst all the warriors. And then I just got Prince Adam that's just kind of like there. So maybe it makes sense to keep this the good guy sled, put Adam on it, and have him cruising around. Even though I honestly believe that most of the time when I was watching it, I felt like Teela made a lot of sense on the Sky Sled. It seems like oftentimes when I'm watching the old show, she would run up, jump on the Sky Sled, and like, it just seems like maybe this could be her thing, because I don't have a horse or anything for her like that, and I don't have necessarily a Battle Cat for her, even though that would be fine. It would make also sense for her to basically be able to ride Battle Cat and whatnot, because she's good in with Cringer and whatnot. and then especially like later on, you know, like in Revelations and everything, the relationship that her and Cringer have. So it makes me feel like that would work, but I might put one of the Teelas on this. I don't know yet. That might work, actually. Just because I'm kind of used to seeing her, and she's kind of a smaller frame, so it would look like she had this big deal here. I don't know. That might be cool. This thing is neat. It's a simple little thing. I don't think I need to talk too much into it, really. Just kind of say that that's the little features of it, and it does come with a type of gun effect. Pew, 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 pew. See that? There's your gun effect. And this turns. That's kind of cool, I guess, to simulate the idea that these are firing straight, but like this could probably, your big cannon could turn over here and be like, ba-dow, ba-dow. It's a cool play feature, but it would have been fine if that just would have been a stock piece that was just straight as well. I don't think it would have affected anything or changed anything one way or another, in all honesty. But I do like the fact that it has a firing effect. Would have been cool to get little firing effects for this, and maybe they could have afforded that, and they built this into the body as one piece. Instead of this being able to turn, had this been built into the body, and then we also could have got gun effects for this, maybe that would have been cool. It doesn't feel like this moves. I mean, it's been put on, you could tell, but it doesn't feel like it moves. It doesn't feel like those push forward, even though it kind of looks like they could. And that's it. That's the Sky Sled. It's a cool little thing. It's going to go up on the shelf. I've had it on the rotator for a little while, back and forth, while I've been kind of showing it off and talking about it. And if you're interested at all, these things are basically, I've seen them on clearance everywhere. If you find them in the wild, more than likely they're on clearance. And I've also done things like gone to Amazon and got them for like 13 bucks at this point. Literally found them as low as like $13. Not that this is a value thing when we talk about collecting, because you're going to justify what you feel was worth whatever you chose to pay. That's the truth of it. I'm probably going to spend $35 because it seems like the price of Orko went down a little bit. But since I can't find him in the wild, I'm going to justify $35 and buy an Orko. That's just the way it is. That's part of this hobby. It's part of collecting. It's part of justifying where you feel your money can go or shouldn't go, and so on and so forth. And that's going to be up to you. It's not going to be up to anybody else. It just is the way it is. We're going to justify our own collections, and that's the way it is. But guys, that was the Sky Sled. It's awesome. It's going to end up on this shelf back here. I think I've covered it enough. There's really not much to say. I talked about the plates. I talked about the head. I talked about what I kind of wish I would have had. I talked about the slight defect that my guy had here. That's it. That's everything. That's what I got. That's the Sky Sled. Later on, guys.
I have spoken. Take what you will from it.